Chennedy Carter, the same player who refused to answer questions about Caitlin Clark after her infamous flagrant foul, is now desperately begging Clark for her job back. After getting banned from the WNBA and exiled to playing basketball in Mexico and China, Carter made a shocking appearance on Neon's podcast where she tried to rewrite history about that infamous incident. But here's the twist. She's now throwing Angel Reese completely under the bus, breaking her silence about the incident. The fall from grace has been swift and brutal, and Carter's damage control attempts are getting more desperate by the day. Who do you think is to blame? Carter, Reese, or both? Let me know down in the comments below.
And it looked like Chennedy Carter has finally broken her silence about this Caitlin Clark situation. Chennedy Carter just jumped out the window and justified an assault on Caitlin Clark.
But it looks like she's blacklisted, and she will be playing professional basketball during the season, but it won't be for the WNBA.
June 1st, 2024 marks the exact moment Chennedy Carter destroyed her own WNBA career with one reckless decision. During the Chicago Sky vs. Indiana Fever game, Carter lined up Clark on an inbound play and delivered what would become the most expensive flagrant foul in WNBA history. The contact sent Clark sprawling to the floor while Carter walked away like she had just made a routine defensive play. No concern, no acknowledgement, nothing.
Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter, I think that's going to be a flagrant one. And
Carter's body language after the hit revealed everything you needed to know about her mindset. Chest puffed out, zero remorse, like she had just accomplished something meaningful rather than committed a cheap shot on the league's brightest star. The officials initially called it a common foul, but the WNBA's review upgraded it to a flagrant one after determining the contact was unnecessary, excessive, and occurred away from the ball. That upgrade should have been Carter's wake-up call. Instead, her post-game reaction proved she was completely tone-deaf to the situation. When reporters asked about the incident, Carter delivered the soundbite that would seal her fate with every WNBA front office. "I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions." Those 7 words became her career death sentence.
And then Chennedy just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that moment between you and Caitlin. What was that play, what was said, and kind of what led to.
Next question.
Yeah, I mean, like Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit.
Yeah.
After
I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
That's enough. We're good. She's good.
Meanwhile, Clark's measured response showed the maturity gap between a future superstar and a career journeyman. "Basketball's competitive. I get it. Emotions get the best of you. It happened to me too," Clark said, focusing on moving forward and letting her play speak for itself.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just like, just respond, calm down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense, and I feel like that's kind of what we did, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Carter's dismissive attitude exposed a pattern of behavior that made her unemployable across the league. WNBA executives viewed her actions and subsequent lack of accountability as toxic to team culture. One anonymous executive stated, "We wouldn't touch her even with a 10-foot pole," showing how radioactive Carter had become. That shoulder check ended Carter's WNBA career and launched her into international exile, serving as a defining moment that separated the new WNBA culture from the old guard mentality Carter represents.
Seriously, she needs to do whatever she can to get some help, get her anger under control, where she will not have another incident like the one where she slammed into Caitlin Clark, but she's out of the league.
Carter shows up on Neon's podcast trying to clean up her mess, but she's making it worse with every word that comes out of her mouth. After months of silence since her WNBA exile, Carter finally decides to speak about the Clark incident that ended her career. You'd think she'd take responsibility, maybe show some remorse, but you'd be wrong.
Can you break down that situation that happened?
Yeah. So, in basketball a little bit, there's things called talking what you like to call smack or whatever everybody likes to call it.
Yeah.
Plays before things are said, you know, that's a part of basketball.
Instead of owning up to her actions, Carter points fingers directly at Angel Reese and claims she was just following orders. According to Carter's version of events, Reese supposedly told her to target Clark during that game. She's literally throwing her former teammate under the bus to save what's left of her reputation. The audacity is mind-blowing when you think about it.
I think a play before, maybe I was elbowed. Okay, that happens. Think the next play down, maybe something was said. And then maybe there was like a little clip of somebody like yelling in my face. And then we go down the court. Then I hit like a little bucket, you feel me? Come down, hit like a little nice little mid-range pull-up. And then I just like, you know, just give her like a little like, I'm here. Like, you know, I don't think it was, you know what's crazy? Me and my brother went back and watched, and we seen a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting like pushing LeBron. Like I think it was Jeff Teague or somebody who like pushed LeBron out of bounds, like said, man, I was mad because like we couldn't stop him.
Carter tries to paint herself as the victim of Chicago's toxic culture throughout the entire interview. She sits there acting like she had no choice but to deliver that flagrant foul because the team environment made her do it. The way she tells it, she was just an innocent player caught up in someone else's drama. But here's the problem with that story. Nobody forced her to refuse answering questions about Clark after the game.
So I'm just like, it's like one of those things like it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, oh, it's not one of those things.
It's not a personal thing. It's a competitive thing.
It happens in basketball, and like it's just one of those things. But like, yeah, it's kind of what happened. Then it spiraled out of control.
And then the media takes whatever narrative they want to put out.
You watch every game, every single game, to see if you can find any deflects in my game, and like it's really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So then you have trolls, and that's why I said they're gonna be around regardless. But yeah, it was just like a nice little like tap, like I'm here, not to like harm you or anything. You know, if you want to push somebody, you're gonna like full force.
The podcast appearance reveals Carter's complete lack of accountability as she rewrites history in real time. She's sitting across from Neon, trying to convince everyone that she wasn't the villain in this story. Her tone and body language show someone who still doesn't understand why she's playing basketball in Mexico instead of competing in the WNBA. You can see it in her face. She genuinely believes she got a raw deal.
I mean, that happens, man. Like, it's one of those things. I'm a great player. She's a great player. It looks a certain way. Everybody's going to have their views on it. But my personal view is, you know, I don't have anything against her. She's a great player, and so am I. And I've got buckets all that season. You know what I'm saying? So just one of those things that, I love it though. They think I hate it. I love it. I love when it gets riled up and juicy like that.
You feed off of like what people say and shit, and it makes you more motivated.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Oh yeah, I love the hate. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Carter keeps talking about how the locker room was divided and how certain players got preferential treatment. She mentions the coaching staff prioritizing individual stats over winning games. But when it comes to her own role in the dysfunction, Carter conveniently forgets those details. She's quick to blame everyone else while painting herself as someone who was just trying to fit in. The damage control gets even messier when Carter starts posting cryptic social media shots at Reese after the podcast airs. She's out there destroying Angel Reese's layups in old practice footage and making passive-aggressive comments on Twitter. The back and forth between them becomes public entertainment for basketball fans who can't believe these grown women are airing their dirty laundry online.
Is Chennedy Carter Instagram account right here, guys. And I'm here to tell you, bro, she been going on a little rant all night long. Now, this is the tweet right here that kind of sparked everything. She stated, I think the ability to consistently make layups just put anyone in a different tier. So important to score easy. Now, a lot of people is insinuating that this tweet is towards Angel Reese.
What makes this whole situation even more ridiculous is Carter's complete inability to read the room. She's doing this interview thinking it's going to rehabilitate her image and maybe get some WNBA team to give her another chance. But every answer she gives just confirms why teams won't touch her. She's complaining about team chemistry issues while actively destroying relationships with former teammates.
Just like I've been telling y'all, bro. She has been making it her business to sneak this Angel Reese every chance she get. Now, since she's been cut, it look even more obvious. Somebody said, LOL, you ate down.
Carter's podcast appearance becomes a masterclass in how not to rebuild your reputation when you're trying to get back into professional sports. She had one opportunity to show growth, accountability, and maturity. Instead, she chose to blame everyone else for her problems while acting like she was the real victim of the situation. The interview confirms what WNBA executives already knew about Carter's character. She's the same player who delivered that cheap shot and refused to answer questions about it. Time and distance haven't changed her perspective or her willingness to take responsibility for her actions.
I mean, she can score. She can score with the lights out. I mean, she can. She's pure offense, a pure shooting guard, scoring guard, an instant offense. But if you're a team, do you really want her on the team? I wouldn't.
Carter
There's no
went
doubt.
From leading the sky
Kennedy
in
Carter's
scoring
extremely
to begging
talented.
for scraps in foreign leagues,
But she's got to
faster than
get
you
her
can
head
say
screwed on
flagrant
straight.
foul. One day she's putting up numbers in Chicago, the next she's packing her bags for Mexico, wondering how it all went wrong. The speed of her fall tells you everything about how the WNBA really views players who can't control themselves. This isn't Carter's first rodeo with getting kicked out of organizations for her behavior. She's got a track record that reads like a disciplinary action highlight reel. Teams have been dealing with Carter's attitude problems for years, and each incident made her less valuable in the eyes of front office executives. The warning signs were there long before she decided to target Clark. Her pattern of suspensions and benchings finally caught up with her in the worst possible way when no WNBA team would sign her after Chicago let her go. Carter spent years thinking her talent would always save her from the consequences of her actions. She'd get suspended, serve her time, and come back like nothing happened. Teams kept giving her chances because she could score, but there's only so many times you can test that patience.
Atlanta Dream did suspend her in the middle of the sophomore season, basically saying she was a detriment to the team and the team culture. So then the Atlanta Dream decided to trade her to the Sparks, the Los Angeles Sparks.
Carter's history with Atlanta and the Sparks shows a player who never learned from her mistakes or grew as a person during her professional career. She'd cause problems, get moved, cause more problems, and get moved again. The pattern repeated itself over and over because Carter refused to look in the mirror and change her approach. Each team thought they could be the one to fix her attitude, but you can't fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed. The hip check on Clark was the final straw for WNBA executives who had been watching Carter's behavior for years. League officials saw that flagrant foul as the culmination of everything wrong with Carter's approach to basketball. She targeted the league's biggest star, showed zero remorse, and then refused to even discuss it with reporters. That combination of poor judgment and defiance made her unemployable.
It's one thing pushing Caitlin Clark, and it's another thing blindsiding her. Like, I don't think there's no justification for that. Like, to be honest, we can be honest here.
Her dismissive post-game attitude sealed her fate, as teams realized she would never change her ways or mature as a professional athlete. Carter's refusal to answer questions about Clark showed every general manager in the league exactly who they'd be dealing with if they signed her. Teams want players who can own their mistakes and grow from them, not players who act like victims when they get called out. Clark's measured response to the incident highlighted the massive gap between a true professional and someone like Carter, who thinks the rules don't apply to her. While Clark focused on moving forward and improving her team's chances, Carter was busy playing the victim and refusing to take accountability for her actions.
During the 2024 WNBA season, guard Chennedy Carter emerged as a key player for the Chicago Sky, leading the team in scoring with 17.5 points per game, a career high. She would still be probably their best pure offensive weapon if she was still on that team. Now, there's a world where Camila Cardoso, and I've said this, will be their best player this year, provided they allow her to ball, or provided Angel Reese gets the hell out of the way, one of the two.
The league's new focus on professionalism means there's no room for players like Carter who bring drama and negativity wherever they go. The WNBA is growing in popularity and visibility, which means they need players who represent the league well both on and off the court. Carter's behavior doesn't fit that vision.
she's joining a women's basketball league in Mexico. The WNBA thing looks like a wrap for her for now. And in case you're wondering, she averaged 17.5 points a game last year and literally shot 50% from the field for the Chicago Sky. And she's 26 years old. I get it. I mean, she's got to lay in the bed she made.
Carter's exile to Mexico and China serves as a warning to other players about the consequences of poor behavior in today's professional basketball environment. The WNBA has evolved beyond tolerating players who cause problems just because they have talent. Teams would rather develop younger players who bring positive energy than deal with veterans who create headaches. The league's message is clear through Carter's banishment. Talent without character will get you a one-way ticket out of the premier women's basketball league in the world.
Chennedy Carter, she got a new job. Adios, amigos.
The Chicago Sky's locker room was a powder keg waiting to explode, and Carter just lit the fuse when she delivered that flagrant foul on Clark. The organization's problems ran much deeper than one rogue player making bad decisions on the court. What we're seeing now with all this drama is the result of years of poor leadership and zero accountability from the top down. GM Jeff Pagliuca's comments about Teresa Weatherspoon's firing reveal the toxic culture that bred Carter's behavior in the first place. When Pagliuca finally let Weatherspoon go, he talked about needing better communication and team chemistry. Those are code words for saying the locker room was a complete disaster and players were at each other's throats.
And I can't help but wonder, is that what happened here? Is Angel Reese and the way she wants to play, and I don't know if you've ever noticed her social media post, but she's very me, always. I, me. Well, you may have a player that has decided that she's had enough of that.
Marina Mabrey's escape to Connecticut exposes just how unprofessional the Sky organization had become during her time there. When Mabrey got traded to the Sun, she couldn't hide her relief about joining a real basketball organization. Her comments about being excited to be on a championship team told you everything about Chicago's culture. She basically said the Sky weren't even trying to compete for a title.
Now, Marina Mabrey, she's already flown the coop on this team, and it was quote-unquote because of culture. Well, what happened to the culture? Who torched the culture? Who's selfish on the team that would cause the culture to melt down?
Weatherspoon's coaching style prioritized individual stats over team success, creating an environment where players felt entitled to do whatever they wanted. The coach was more worried about keeping certain players happy than actually winning basketball games. That approach breeds resentment among role players who see the favorites getting special treatment while the team keeps losing.
According to league sources, Weatherspoon had lost the locker room because of a culture that catered to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord.
She talked about how Connecticut has discipline and professionalism, where players just worry about playing basketball. The way she described it made Chicago sound like a high school drama club instead of a professional sports team. Players at Connecticut hold each other accountable instead of pointing fingers when things go wrong. The Sky's focus on padding Angel Reese's numbers instead of winning games created resentment throughout the roster that still shows up in these public feuds. When you prioritize one player's stats over team success, other players notice and they get frustrated. Reese was getting her rebounds and double-doubles while the team struggled to make the playoffs. That kind of approach creates division in the locker room.
This is the very definition of stat padding. You are down by 22 points and you've got the Fever's bench player, playing against bench player, starter, just so that she can get her double-double.
In a single season, she's going for it, dribbling off the dribble, spins, bucket is good, 23 double-doubles on the season, another rookie record for Reese.
Players like Carter thrived in the chaos because there was no accountability or discipline from the coaching staff to keep them in line. When coaches play favorites and let certain players do whatever they want, it gives troublemakers permission to act out. Carter saw that she could get away with almost anything as long as she kept scoring points for Chicago. The organizational problems run so deep that multiple players are now airing dirty laundry publicly through social media and podcast appearances. You've got Carter throwing Reese under the bus while Reese fires back with her own version of events. Meanwhile, Mabry is talking about how much better her new team is compared to Chicago. That's not normal behavior for professional athletes.
And look, as an organization, we just, felt it was time to make a change. There's just private issues that I think we will keep just in the skylock.
Chicago's cultural breakdown explains how Carter thought she could get away with targeting Clark without facing any real consequences. She'd been acting out for months with no punishment from coaches or management. Why would she think the Clark incident would be any different from all her previous behavior problems? The Sky's house cleaning shows what happens when organizations choose drama over discipline and let toxic players run the asylum instead of building winning cultures.
Free agents were skeptical of joining the Sky. On Wednesday, Pagliata acknowledged the team had heard things along those lines. It's really bad.
Carter's fall from grace proves that in today's WNBA, talent without accountability leads to international exile. She thought her scoring ability would always save her from consequences, but the league has moved beyond tolerating toxic behavior. While Clark continues breaking records and building a championship culture in Indiana, Carter is left begging for relevance from overseas basketball courts in Mexico and China. The league's evolution toward professionalism means players like Carter are relics of a bygone era that the WNBA has outgrown. Teams want athletes who represent the sport with class and maturity, not players who create drama and refuse accountability for their actions. Who do you think is to blame? Carter, Reese, or both? Let me know down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.